Hey everybody, this is Doug from Fanatik Bike Co. and I'm out here today to bring you guys another review. Today we're talking Evil bikes, specifically the new Following V3, which I have right here beside me. Evil recently relocated their headquarters from Seattle up here to Bellingham. Just so happens it's a stone's throw away from my house. So I was able to just go pick this thing up, bring this thing out here and give you guys a little rundown of the new updates, new features on this bike. Evil released the original Following back in 2015. And it was a bit of a genre-defying bike. There were a lot of short travel 29ers out at the time, but the Following was a little bit different from the rest. It was a little bit more shreddy, a little more aggressive, a little longer, and it was really well received. Following that, in 2017, no pun intended, they released the Following MB, Following More Better, which was just a little bit longer. They were able to squeeze a piggyback shock in there, and they introduced boost spacing to the rear, just keeping up with the trends. And again, a really well-received bike, super hot bike. People really liked it. And now I have beside me here the latest iteration of this bike, the V3, which sees a new kind of redesign on the frame and some other sweet updates. So let's get into those. All right, so the Evil Following V3 is still sporting 120 millimeters of rear travel. The size medium I have here next to me has a 120 mil fork on it, but you can also run a 130 or a 140. Just get a little more travel on the front there. Your geometry will change just a tad, just to compensate for the higher front end, but it's nothing significant. We've got a 77-degree seat tube angle, just keeping you in a comfortable pedaling position. You know, on a bike like this, you could be spending long days in the saddle, so that's a huge plus. Moving to the front with the head tube angle, we're sporting a 67.9-degree head tube angle in the low position, 67.2 in the extra low. I think this is awesome. You know, not all bikes need the longer, lower, slacker treatment, and that's exactly what they did with the Following V3. You know, being a short travel 29er trail bike, you don't need this big sled you're trying to monster truck around. So keeping the geometry somewhat conservative, making it more snappy, nimble, and playful, that's rad. I really like that. They have a pretty moderate wheelbase. Like I said, this is the medium, so it has a 1,176 mil wheelbase, again, just keeping it snappy and playful on the trail. The size medium I have here has a reach of 460 on it, and you'll see the reach increase or decrease in 20 millimeter increments across their whole size range. So that should make it easy for people to kind of, you know, size themselves up on a bike like this. The Following still has 430 millimeter chainstays, again, just keeping it, you know, like I said, snappy and playful, super duper playful. Also on the chainstays here, you'll notice the rubber protector here with these raised 3 little square thingies here. They're calling this the sound mound. Evil did a bunch of testing here to find out which design will be the quietest. Nobody likes chain slap, nobody likes a loud bike, so that'll just keep your bike running smooth and quiet down the trail. Everyone appreciates a quiet bike. Moving to the back here, we're working with Super Boost 157 spacing now. So previously it had the, you know, Boost 148, now we're at 157, stiffening up the ride here. And it also allowed them for more space where the rear triangle actually attaches to the frame, so they could beef up the pivot hardware a little bit more, and you'll see a lot more of that stiffness come from there. We're still using the patented Delta Link, which is a Dave Weigel design. If you're familiar with Dave Weigel, he's got a big name in the industry, and the guy knows how to make a suspension platform. So this one's a little bit more unique than the rest. It uses a few extra links just to keep the shock as low as possible on the bike, which is where you want all your weight. So I've always liked that design. I've ridden, you know, the Calling, the Reckoning, the previous Following, and they all just pedal so well, and they descend even better. So some cool new features that the Following has. You'll see the internally routed cable ports. You have 2 ports on both sides of the front here. You can, you know, route your brakes moto style and it'll look clean. They also have a cable port down here for a rear shock lockout. If you want to have a rear shock lockout, you can do that. Also speccing it with an inline shock, generating more pop off this bike. You can fit a piggyback shock in there if you want. Check those out. As I mentioned earlier in the video, we have this new frame design. It still has that signature Evil look to it, but just a little bit more beefy, especially in the back with the Super Boost spacing. More of a square edge shape to the top tube, down tube, things like that. I think it looks awesome. You'll see a couple different colorways in this bike. I have what they're calling the protein powder version here next to me, and they also have the blackout drunk colorway, which you've seen on their 140mm travel 29er, the offering. I always liked the way that bike looked and that color on that bike, so check that out. This bike is all loaded up in our bike builder and it looks awesome. I've spent a lot of time playing around on there, building up different variations of this following V3 here. So get on there and do that, have a lot of fun, build up some sweet looking bikes. Like I mentioned, I have yet to ride this thing, but I'm looking forward to getting out on the trail and trying it out. I think this thing will just be awesome for pretty much everything we have here and pretty much any kind of trail, really. If you have any questions about this bike, give us a call or an email, sales@fanatikbike.com. My coworker Rich will get back to you, get you set up, help you build the evil following of your dreams. And again, I hope everybody's staying safe and healthy out there. Getting out and ride our bikes. It's springtime, the weather's starting to get nice, the birds are chirping, and I don't have to wear a rain jacket today, so that's a plus. So see you guys next time.